I decided to make this video, even though I wasn't really planning on making a video today, because one of my coaching clients actually turned me on to this debate that Andrew Tate did with Hassan Abi. Now, I'm not familiar with Hassan Abi. I don't know the guy, but I just had a video that came out talking about Andrew Tate, the XQC controversy on there, and talking about how Andrew Tate maintained frame. He didn't get upset and get angry about that, but I think you guys should watch this one. This one is called I Made Andrew Tate Run Away in a Debate. And at first I thought, is this really true? But realistically, after watching the video, I think it is pretty accurate. I think that is essentially what he did. And so why am I making this video? For a couple of reasons. So one is that I respect Andrew Tate. I like Andrew Tate. I had him on the channel, had a really good interview with him. I feel like it was a really good discussion that we had. We see eye to eye on a lot of viewpoints, but at the same time, he is a human. Again, like I said, I consider him a friend, but that doesn't make me a fanboy of everything that he says and everything that he does. And I think this is really important for a lot of you guys that are growing up in the internet generation of celebrities on the internet, is that too many people in general are just fanboying all these people, Hamas, First Man, all these in the worst realms, Tao Dictionary and stuff like that. Some of you guys know what I'm talking about, some of you don't, it's fine. But the point is that you have to really be careful to not drink too much of the Kool-Aid. Even you guys that are following me, I appreciate you guys being viewers of my channel, of Bulldog Mindset, of believing in the philosophy of Bulldog Mindset, but I'm not always right. And I know it for sure because I correct my viewpoints on things as I learn and gain experience in life. Even just my fitness, I have recently discovered a much better way of getting, I have the best physique that I've ever had. Now I'm 42 years old. And part of that, you might say, oh, he's on TRT. I already made a video on that. That's not why. Even on TRT, I still didn't have as good a physique until I figured out some of these things as far as increasing intensity. One of my friends, Jay Vincent, really turned me on to this idea of doing one set to failure workouts. And it seemed like a crazy idea at first, but I started doing that. I'm getting ridiculous results from doing that, and it might change my running. So I learned things over time. And so it's important that we learn things over time. And again, I encourage you guys to watch this with an open mind. And part of the reason why I did this was because I just had a video come out on my channel reacting to Andrew Tate controversy, and I sung his praises. I said, oh, look at how he maintains frame and how he doesn't get rattled while the other guy's getting rattled in the debate, and he listens respectfully to the other guy's argument and whatnot. And then we've got this situation where that is not really the case, where Hassan Abi actually was able to get Andrew Tate quite flustered in this. And again, is this a knock on Andrew Tate? No, it's not a knock on him. This is not designed to be a knock on anyone, but it's to understand that regardless of how masculine or alpha that you think you are, you can lose frame. It is possible. And this is a good example of Andrew Tate losing frame. You don't see very many of these examples, but there's some things to learn from this. Like I said, I think the biggest thing is to learn, do not completely idolize someone. They are human, but also don't demonize. At the same time, we have good days and bad days. We have good thoughts, we have bad thoughts. We have ideals that make sense and philosophies that make sense and some philosophies that we should be leaving behind, but we're all growing. We're in a process of growth. I've defended people like Tai Lopez. I've defended people like Dan Lok. I've defended people that a lot of people say, oh, they're scammers and all these things. Not because I necessarily agree with all their principles and ethics and everything that they say, but because they have some marketable skill. They know how to make money. They know how to market. Again, would I necessarily sell things the same way that Dan Lok does? Do I feel like some of the things that he's done are across the line as far as ethics, in my opinion? Of course. Yet, are there things that I learned from Dan Lok that were valuable that I can take and incorporate into myself and my selling and my marketing that will help me as a person? Yes. And so when you're out here on the interwebs, you need to be looking for those attributes. Don't look at Andrew Tate and be like, I want to be like Andrew Tate. I worship the ground he walks on. It's good to say there's some good attributes here. There's some things that he does correct. There are some points that he's making that make sense, that I agree with. But you also have to understand that he's also putting on a bit of an act. It is a show. It's showmanship. I am quite sure that he wouldn't disagree with me in saying that. And maybe I'll bring him on the channel again. We've had some talks about it and we'll talk about some of these things. But the whole point of this is, again, like we live in a society where people demonize or they godify people. And you have to stop doing that as a human being if you want to grow and develop as a person, because there are going to be plenty of instances where Andrew Tate's going to be wrong. There's going to be plenty of instances where I'm going to be wrong. There's going to be plenty of instances where I'm right, where Andrew Tate is right, where a guy that, again, I don't know this Hassan Abi, but in this particular debate that he talked, he had some rational things that he said. Now, he said some things that he was definitely egging on Andrew Tate, but at a point, if you listen to this, it comes down to this point of Andrew should have been able to handle that and handle it without losing his cool. He took his headphones off at one point during the debate and it didn't go so well for him. Definitely, it felt like he tapped out in this case. Again, is this to make a negative reflection? That's not the point. The point is to realize that even your heroes, even your idols, even guys that you view as these extremely masculine men that are accomplishing things in life, that they are not going to be perfect and you shouldn't expect them to be. At the same time, that doesn't mean that you now say, oh, he's a scam, he's a fraud. That's also not true. Now, there may be some cases where you would uncover evidence and you would say that that's the case, and that's fine. But do not base things off of sound bites that people say. Do not base things off of a good day versus bad day, one particular thing. And even so, does it really matter? It doesn't matter what your opinion is on Andrew Tate. It doesn't matter what your opinion is on me. It doesn't matter what your opinion is on Jordan Peterson, on any kind of figure. It only matters what kind of value can you get from them. And so you might like me as a person. That's great. But it doesn't matter, because what matters is, am I giving you advice? Am I giving you things that you can use in your toolbox to improve your life? That's the value. You could hate my guts, but if you listen to my videos, and I see there's a few of you that comment that say negative things from time to time or whatever, and I can tell you don't align with a lot of the views that I have, but you're getting some value from some of the things. You probably wouldn't even like me as a person, but some of the stuff he says about discipline and hard work, or some of the wealth building stuff, I agree with. I like that. It helped me in my life. So that's the thing to really become good at. And this is a skill that definitely one that I've developed and worked on over time, because like I said, I have learned from people who I do not like. It's hard to do, but we tend to say, if I don't like this person, then what they're saying must be wrong and not valuable. And we seem to demonize people instead. It's like, okay, what can we learn? Again, life is a game of chess. This is the thing to understand, is that it doesn't matter why someone moved the piece. It doesn't matter if they're trying to kill you. It doesn't matter if they're trying to beat you. It doesn't matter if they berate you, if they dislike you. It only matters that they moved this piece, and now you have a board to look at, and what is your best move? That's where we get swept up in our emotions. We talk about Stoic philosophy and how to avoid these things. Is don't look and say, oh, this person did this to me. It doesn't matter whose fault it is. Excuses don't matter. When I say all these things, I'm not saying it because I don't believe that there is a reason. I don't believe that someone is responsible. I don't believe that it's someone's fault. Things are outside of your control. They're outside your fault, but it doesn't matter, because whether it's a good excuse or a lame excuse, an excuse still prevents you from getting the result that you want. If someone does something and they do it to you out of malice, or they do it out of accident, or whatever the cause is, it doesn't matter. Why? Because it still puts you in a position where you have to make the next move, and your moves matter. If you start getting emotionally caught up with why people do things, again, we could talk about letting go of expectations, not putting expectations on people, and not letting people put expectations on you. It all weaves into the same tapestry, which is the one of life. I'm deciding that, look, it doesn't matter why, it doesn't matter whose fault it is, it doesn't matter any of these things. I'm going to take personal responsibility. I'm not going to have the victim mindset, and I'm just going to look at the chessboard from an objective standpoint, from a Stoic viewpoint, emotionless viewpoint, and say, what is the best move that I can make to accomplish the goal that I would like to achieve in life? We don't take things personal. If you haven't read the excellent book, The 4 Agreements, the second agreement is what? Don't take things personal. Very, very important to understand that. If you grasp this concept, you're not going to get thrown off. An example in this debate, Andrew Tate lost his cool. He would probably go back and admit this, but you can see what happens when you start to get emotional, when you do take things personal, is that you get in a state where you don't have the frame. If you want to become more masculine, if you want to develop your ability to enforce your will upon the world, we'll say exercise your will upon the world, which is my definition of freedom, which is why we're here on this channel. I talked about this, is I'm teaching you guys how to be free. You need to have a clear mind, and you have to recognize frame and frame control. And the best way to control a frame is to not be reactive. And if you look at this debate, again, what happened here is this guy, Hasanabi, was able to get Andrew into a reactive state. Now, he did some things. He pulled some low blows. He called some names, but he still got him into a reactive state. And because he was in a reactive state, he all of a sudden, he lost that frame. He didn't look as masculine in this performance, and a different performance. Just like you and I have different days, and we're going to have different results from those days. Now, in terms of freedom, if you guys are looking to become free, let me tell you the way to do that. One of the ways is through your mind, obviously through discipline and hard work. But another important way, at least in this world that we live in, is through financial freedom. If you want some help becoming free financially, click the link down below. There's a link to book a 15-minute call. You can jump on a call with me or someone on my team who will go over this. I have a system that I've put together. I've helped people become financially free. That is my highest aspiration and goal in life, is to become even more free, not just financially, but to teach guys freedom. I retired at 33. I've been investing in real estate for over 20 years. I have a ton of coaching clients that are very high profile guys that I help them to make more money, to leverage their life, to become financially free and build freedom in their lives. I'd love to help you do the same. So click the link down below and jump on a free call there. But yeah, so this is interesting. Like I said, with Andrew Tate, I wanted to make this video because one of my coaching clients, he was like, you should check out this other video on Andrew Tate. And I don't want to be biased. Again, we're big boys here. We should be able to take it. Andrew should be able to take it. I'm not saying anything derogatory or false. I'm just pointing out that, hey, in this case, he didn't do quite as well. It shouldn't be a big deal like I said, but it is important, I think, to present this because I want to give you a realistic viewpoint of a human being and also give you a caution so that when you see people in the future, that you don't go fanboy and believe everything that someone says, and realize that no matter how good someone is or how popular they are, that they are going to have flaws and they're not always going to perform at top level. And if you blindly follow people, then you're going to fall down the same pits that they will. That's the really key thing. Again, and I say the same thing for myself, is don't just blindly follow me. Don't follow what I'm saying blindly. Use your judgment. Recognize that there are times where you're ignorant and you're unable to detect your ignorance. So you might think I'm wrong about something and I might be right about it, and you might not have any way of knowing that. And to some degree, you need to test it or trust it in order to see if this actually equates to something, right? I've had to do this myself in life. I remember the first time I read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I basically threw it in the trash can. I had to listen to several millionaires who told me that was one of the best books that they read in order for me to give it a chance and sink in. And I still don't agree with everything in the book. I don't believe some of the stories in the book. It doesn't matter, because what was important was the mindset that I got from that. Again, which brings us full circle into what I had to say with this whole thing. Is I went to Tony Robbins seminars. I listened to Napoleon Hill. I've listened to a lot of new stuff and participated in that, but I don't agree with all of it. But the mindset, there are gems that I've taken from all these places that have helped me grow and develop as a person. If you want to see the contrast of this, watch this other video that I said on Andrew Tate. It's called Reacting to Andrew Tate's XQC Controversy, and you can see the contrast between the two. Leave a comment below and let me know if you recognize the differences in those two debates.